So now that we've practiced creating functions that have parameters, we define it with parameters, and then when it is called, it has to pass arguments to our function. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to practice writing functions that return something to the calling program. Like just a minute ago, we wrote a function that calculated the volume of your fish tank, correct? It would be nice that instead of displaying that answer inside the function, if we could return that value to the calling program or when it is called, and then we could have printed something out there. So we're going to write a new function that this time you're going to pass to it a score, and it's going to return to the calling program a letter grade. So I'm going to go down here below main, and we're going to create a new function that will return a letter grade. So we are below main. It's been a while since we have done a switch, so how about we do this with a switch? So I'm going to write the function definition. It is going to return a char value. How about if we call it letter grade? They're going to have to pass to me a double score, so they're going to have to pass the score to me. And from there, we are going to move this into a switch to determine if we're going to return an A, a B, a C, something like that. So in order to be able to determine what we're going to pass into the switch, I'm going to create an int, and we'll call it int score, because my switch is going to need an integer value. And so whatever score that they pass to me, I don't want to just, if it's 95.5, I don't want to just pass that into an int, because it would give me a 95. What I would like is anything in the 90s should equate to a 9. And anything, because switches don't do a range, like between 90 and 100 or between 80 and 90. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to take anything in the 90s and I'm going to convert it to a 9. Anything in the 80s, I'm going to convert it to an 8. And we're going to do that by taking whatever floating point score is coming in. I'm going to divide that by 10. So 99 would give me 9.9. I convert it to an int and it gives me a 9. 86.3 divided by 10 would give me 8.6. And I convert it to an int, that gives me 8. It just truncates off that trailing value. And then I'm going to pass that int score into a switch. And now we can use cases that are 9 or 8 or 7 or something like that. All right, so let's say that our first case here is going to be case 9. So case 9, let me tab that in. Our case 9 is, we're going to put grade equal to, and we're passing back a char. So I am going to pass back, how about if we pass back a capital A, and then I will do a break to break out of that case. So we're going to need, if I'm going to set this grade to that, I'm going to return a char. It seems like I'm going to need a char variable called grade to be able to set it to. So I have a char variable called grade. And then we'll try another one. We'll do another case. I'll say if we have a case 8, let's set grade equal to a char. We'll just pass a capital B and we'll do a break. And then I'll do the remaining. We'll do a case 7, a case 6, and then we'll have a default value. Right, so we have case 9, 8, 7, 6, and then the default value, which obviously doesn't need a condition on it. I'm going to add one more because it's possible that they might potentially have something that is larger than I. What if they have extra credit with a 110 or 101, 102.5, something like that. So I'm going to put a case 10 in here without the break statement, and it will drop into a B. All right, very good. So now I'm going to take this definition, and I'm going to put it up here under my declarations so that main will know about it. And then we're going to, inside of our program, we're going to prompt the user for a score, and then we're going to call the function, and then we're going to have to capture that return value because it is returning a char to me. So there's a couple of variables that I'm going to need. I'm probably going to need an int We'll call it score. I'm probably going to need a char. We'll say just letter or something like that. And then I'm going to prompt him for the score. I'll capture that. And then we'll call the function. All right, so I'm prompting them for their score on the exam. I'm reading that into, and I'm giving them an example of the type of data that I'm looking for. And now we're going to do the function call. It's called letter grade. I am going to have to pass to it that score, but I'm also want to capture the return value. It is attempting to return something to me. So I'm pretty sure that I created a char variable called letter. And so I'm going to capture that return value, and then let's just print what we got back. So I'm just going to do a print statement that shows the score and the letter grade, and then we're going to try to run it and see what happens. So it's given me an error message. You may have encountered these quite a few times. There is something wrong with it. So the way that we can find out what is wrong with the program is down here at the bottom, there is an error list. And so if I scroll this screen up, I can see that there is a warning saying that I'm going to lose precision by taking a float and changing it or putting it into an int. But it's also given me this is the error message that won't let it run. It says letter grade must return a value. So let me scroll down here, and it is expecting a char value in return, which means that we're going to have to use the key return, and then I'm going to pass to it either a char literal or a char, and we called that one grade, either a char literal or a char variable. And so now when I try to run it, let's see if we can overcome this problem. There we go. Enter exam on the score. So if I do say 95.2, I would expect it to tell me that my letter grade is A. Let's try something else in another one of these. If I say that my letter grade is 72.35, I would expect it to tell me that we have a C. So this makes it, being able to return values makes it much more usable, because maybe I want to do something with that letter grade, which I just did. I put it in my own print statement. So let's try another one. Let's see if we can write a program. There's main. I'm going to put my cursor at main, and I'm going to push that one down that we just created. Let's see if we can convert pounds to kilograms. So we're going to write a function that will convert this. It's going to return a floating point value. I will call it pounds to kilograms. They're going to have to pass to me the pounds, right? So I need that parameter. We'll come down here into the function. And what we would normally do inside of here is I would create a floating point variable to be able to return. And then to convert the pounds to kilograms, we would say kilograms equals pounds. Does anybody know what the conversion rate is? How to do that conversion to go from pounds to kilograms? I'm going to do my handy dandy Google search, and I'm going to find out that it is 0.453592, and then we would return kilograms. So I'm going to take my prototype, my definition. I'm going to come up here, or my declaration, also known as the method signature. I'm going to put it in here so that we can use it, and then we're going to call it by name. In order to call it by name, we probably need a floating point. We are pounds, so I need a pounds. I'm going to prompt him for the pounds. I'm going to call the function, capture the return value, and print it out. So since we are calculating the volume of a fish tank, how about if we ask him to enter the weight in pounds of silver arowana, and then I am going to call the function. I do need to capture the return value in the call, and I'm pretty sure that we will capture the return value in a variable that we are going to call. That would be float. We'll call it kilos. So we'll capture that return value, and then we're going to print it out. And just in case you were curious, this is what a silver arowana looks like. It requires a 300-gallon tank. They can be 3 to 4 feet long, so we needed a large fish that could weigh multiple pounds. So we are going to call the function, capture its return value, and then I'm going to do a print statement, mirroring back all relevant information, and then we will run it. And here is the prompt for the weight of our silver arowana. So if I put 3.25, it's going to tell me that it weighs 3.25 pounds or 1.47. If I wanted to, I could force the number of decimal places on these kilograms by using the set precision, which means that I'm also going to have to pound include IO manip. So I'm going to use cout fixed and set precision. I'm going to set precision to 3. We'll use 3 decimal places because they're not very big fish, although they probably are big fish. But I do need to pound include IO manip up at the top of the program, and then we'll run it one last time, see how it works. So let's say that he weighs 10.325, and it's going to do my conversion. I have 3 decimal places both on the pounds and 3 decimal places on the kilograms. So I'm going to come back down to this function, and I'm going to add a shortcut. If the long cut is to create a variable, do calculations, and return the variable, the shortcut is just going to be to return the calculation. So let me copy and paste this. This would be the shortcut because that return value automatically exits the program. As a matter of fact, I could come back down to our switch, and instead of setting a value to A and breaking and setting another value to B and breaking, I could have just said, case 9, return char A. Case 8, return char B. So that would be a shortcut for returning values from a function. All right, it's your turn again. What I want you to do is to modify that program that you wrote, calculating the area. I want you to add another function. This one is going to be called smallest. And in main, you're going to prompt for 3 numbers, or you could just prompt for a third one since you already have 2. You're going to pass all 3 of those values to the smallest function. It is going to calculate the smallest of the 3 values that were passed. This time it's going to return the smallest one, and then you're going to print that from main. That capture and display the return value, the smallest value in main. As always, when you are displaying values, you want to mirror back all relevant information. You're going to include some test cases for this one as well.